Greetings, my fellow travelers. If you notice that this isn't No Man's Sky, you are quite correct. It's a little game called Astroneer on the Xbox. Takes up 2 gigs to the 16 gigs that No Man's Sky has resident on consoles. A few dollars compared to the several dollars that No Man's Sky is on sale. Why am I playing this game? Well, I decided to take a break from No Man's Sky. The break in of itself didn't quite work out. I ended up still playing the game. But I decided to play a little bit of this thing just to compare and contrast type thing. And the one big problem I ran into is I can't for the life of me figure out how to tell the Xbox to record more than 4 minutes at a shot. And that the fonts, the letters in the various tutorials are very small, thus kind of hard to read from the sofa to the TV. But it was a fun diversion. Not going to be abandoning No Man's Sky. The title of the video is PlayStation 4 versus PlayStation 5. And we're not talking about the consoles. We are talking about the versions of the game. And until very, very recently, I had both the PlayStation 4 version and PlayStation 5 version of the game resident on the PlayStation 5. And after every other effort to resolve the rendering issues failed, rebooting, resetting the modem, making sure you're not downloading anything, making sure you're not downloading anything from either the PlayStation 5 or the PlayStation 4 because you're updating a game while you're playing No Man's Sky, kind of defeats the purpose of being able to play a game with downloading stuff in the background if it impacts the game. And last but not least, deleting close to a dozen bases over a number of saves. The last possibility was there's something inherently wrong with either the PlayStation 4 version of the game or the PlayStation 4 version of the game being resident with the PlayStation 5 version of the game. So, I suppose I could have deleted the PlayStation 5 version of the game and, just playtested the PlayStation 4, but what I did instead was delete the PlayStation 4 version of the game. To me, there is no visual difference between the 5 and the 4 version of the game as far as aesthetics or things that are available in the game. Is there ever so slightly a greater increase in performance? Kind of hard to say. When you compare and contrast the PlayStation 5 version of the game, loading times compared to the PlayStation 4 version of the game on the 5, yes, it's noticeable, and even more so when you're playing PlayStation 4 version of the game on the PlayStation 4. Which, of course, leads me to the second part of this little commentary. Obviously, I still have the PlayStation 4 version of the game on the PlayStation 4, and I resumed playing, thus noticing the severe loss in performance. And gentlemen, we're all about the performance. But sadly, while the rendering issues seem to get quite curtailed, quite reduced, and the crashing also got reduced a great deal, there's one offsetting factor. We're about halfway through the Adrift expedition at that point, so the number of people playing the expedition may have dropped severely, thus reducing the load on the servers at Hello Games. But the fact remains that there are still performance issues with the PlayStation 4 version of the game on the PlayStation 4. Minor rendering issues. The game crashed once that I recall upon the immediate resumption. I noticed that it seems to be cumulative with time. Roughly at the 1 hour mark, as I'm going through the various saves and getting the various upgrade materials and resolving the various citizen dispute and sort of administrative bullshit, I really, really wish the ranking up your settlement to S-class was a little bit faster and had a little bit less citizen disputes. If you're going to force me to have this much time to get the settlement to S, then please allow me to add more buildings to the settlement from within the settlement. And do little things like landscaping. Could have one settlement where there's a meteor strike smack in the middle of the settlement. I'd like to fill that up. Thank you very much. So yes, that was a little bit disappointing in as much as there seems to be an inherent problem with the PlayStation 4 version of the game. Is this some sort of conflict that got introduced at one of the various updates in the last several months, various expeditions? I don't know. I neither have the knowledge of programming nor the knowledge that would be provided to me by having access to the servers to allow to get some sort of definitive answer. But there obviously is an issue with the PlayStation 4 version of the game. Although not having it resident on the PlayStation 5 at the same time the PlayStation 5 version of the game seemed to have alleviated some of the problem. So my conclusion is they're not supporting it as much as they're supporting the PlayStation 5 version of the game. Maybe it's resident on different servers and the servers are getting older and they're not being replaced, refurbished, or whatever. Or maybe some of them have been removed and given over to either Xbox or PC or PlayStation 5 or was it Twitch or they've added one more platform the game's available on fairly recently. And to me here, this is a big problem for them. Sort of, I say lack of planning, but it's almost a weird kind of greed. We're going to provide the most amount of platforms possible. Yeah, but if in that effort you end up shortchanging one of those platforms, you're not doing those customers a favor. And the only thing I can think of is they're not supporting the PlayStation 4 game as much as they're supporting the PlayStation 5 version of the game. To me, they should have never bothered with the PlayStation 5 version of the game. As long as the PlayStation 5 console plays PlayStation 4 games, it's a non-issue. People still buy PlayStation 4 games to play on the 5, even if the 5 is the first console they've ever gotten. I mean, it's one of the selling points of the Xbox One, which was, hey, we'll allow you to play at 360 games. Anyway, I've got about a minute left in this. The other thing, which I think may be a contribution, is the dilution of effort. Is this, we must have cross-platform. Yes, as long as it does not impact the game. If this contributes to the lost performance of the game in any of the platforms, then sorry, but you're losing out. And I've got about 10 seconds to go, so the conclusion is that yes, deleting the PlayStation 4 version of the game off the PlayStation 5 certainly helped the PlayStation 5 version of the game because it just hasn't crashed. I've built 2 bases so far, no problems. But and the PlayStation 4 version of the game on the PlayStation 4 by itself is operating much better than it did on the PlayStation 5 with the PlayStation 5 version of the game. It's still far from perfect. Am I going to chuck No Man's Sky out of the airlock for astroneer? No. Astroneer cost me a few dollars. Will I play it sometimes in the future? Yeah, sure. And have I not played other games? Unfortunately, yeah. I renewed my Disney Plus subscription, caught up on The Mandalorian, look at Ahsoka. A little bit disappointed at the massive plot holes. Watching Orville, I was cite a few stupid episodes. Fucking good TV. And I'm catching up on an old one, The X-Files. And that's it, my fellow travelers. Take care.